My guest today creates profitable impact companies that make the world a better place. John Shegerian is co-founder and executive chairman of ERI, the world's largest privately held recycler of electronic waste. Under his stewardship, ERI now has the capacity to process more than 1 billion pounds of electronic waste annually. Shegerian is a sought-after speaker, panelist, and electronic recycling, cybersecurity, and ITAD industry authority. He is also co-author of 101 Tips from the Marketing Masters, Ways to Supercharge Your Marketing and Exponentially Grow Your Business, a #1 bestseller on Amazon in the advertising, internet marketing, and web marketing categories. John, what keeps you up at night?
Well, let me tell you a story, Scott. A few years back, I got a phone call, and it was taken by my receptionist, and she said, "Mr. Shegerian, there's a gentleman that'd like to speak with you." And I said, "Oh, sure. Where's he from?" And she said, "He's from the FBI." I said, "Put him through." And he reached me, and we had a nice conversation. He said, "I'd like to stop by and meet with you and your team tomorrow." And he did, of course. And we sat around my little table in my office, about 12 of us, my partners and some of my colleagues and him. And he explained to us how e-waste had historically been shipped off our shores starting in 1998 and 99 to recover the gold, the silver, and the copper and other precious metals that was in e-waste in China, in India, and Africa. But no longer was that happening. He said they've tracked the electronics that were being shipped off our shores in 2008, 9, 10, and beyond, and now, of course, in 2020. Typically, those electronics now are being purchased by people who want to buy our old electronics off our shores, pull out the hard drives, reverse engineer the information. And he said, when they've tracked down these threat actors, and this gentleman was from the FBI Division of Homeland Security, he said, these people are adverse to our Homeland Security interests, John. So the more electronics that you could destroy, and the more electronics that you can get your hands on, and the more strange requests that come to you that you could make us aware of, you could help protect this country. And I've never forgotten that story. And I've been contacted by 3-letter agencies since, by executives there, by public servants who say their colleagues are still selling the electronics on Craigslist, on eBay, or because of limited budgets, they're just hiring a local person to pick up their old electronics for quote unquote free. And we know there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as free recycling. Those materials are typically being put in a container and shipped off our shores to the threat actors that gentleman from the FBI made me aware of. That's what keeps me up at night.
Wow, John, thank you for sharing that. That's a powerful example. So if companies have electronic waste and they don't know how to properly dispose of it, they should certainly be calling ERI to make sure that it's processed properly. Maybe, John, you can help our viewers learn a little bit more about ERI and some of the exciting things that you're involved with, please.
Right. Thank you, Scott. We responsibly destroy your old electronics. When we say responsibly, what we mean is zero waste, zero emissions, zero landfill. So if on a typical month, we recycle about 25 million pounds of electronic waste, for governments, for local governments, national government, Department of Homeland Security, and also corporations, large and small, publicly held, privately held, doesn't matter. And when we take this material, we shred it, and then we sell all the shredded materials, the steel, the plastic, the copper, all the precious metals, and the glass, all go for resmelting, for beneficial reuse. So it all gets reused in a new product again. But more importantly, given that we live in a cyber-centric world, a privacy-concerned world, a world that's now being regulated by GDPR, and state by states are passing their own legislation like GDPR. The data is destroyed and gone forever because it's shredded to such small bits, and all the smelted parts are sold for smelting all those shred bits, that nothing is ever going to come back to haunt anybody that sends us their material ever again.
Wow. Well said. Great. Well, thank you again for joining us so much there, John.
Happy to be here. It's an honor and privilege, Scott. Thank you.